In this video tutorial, I am going to discuss at length the Requests Manager functionality of our database system. The Requests Manager is opened by clicking the bottom area of the window in the Scores tab. When you open the Requests Manager, you will see the various requests based on what criteria you have selected up here in the status filter area. If I want to see just open requests, I can just check that box. Just new requests, there are none at this time, or I could see closed requests. So that is how I filter out what requests I'm looking at. Now, this is very important. I could not stress this enough, so I'm going to stress it a lot. This is where we keep track of what music needs to be got out, checked out, or whatever done for our various ensembles. It's also important to note that these requests only relate to music that is in our system. So we can't add requests for music that we don't have. So if somebody orders music, new music that's not on our shelf, the very first thing we do when we get that email submission is to create a new score for that item. Then we can create a request for that. So I'm going to go back to the Scores window, and you will see that this just says Open Request Manager. In order to make a request, there's a few different ways to do this. The faculty members can do it from their iPads, actually. They can click on a button, and that's how most of those requests were made. But that's still catching on at the creation of this video. That's not widespread practice. A few of them do. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. So I'm going to request this score. So just click that button. Request submission comes up, automatically puts the name of the person who is logged in and the name of the piece that they're on. You enter date needed, which we're going to say this is September 21st. For which group? Let's just say it's going to be symphonic band. Status is automatically new because this is just being created. And then you can say whatever is necessary and concise in this special instructions. Needs to be prepped and labeled. That's a standard thing we use. And it's going to automatically put my name on it, so I don't need to worry too much about that. I'm going to continue. Your request has been successfully submitted. Okay, so now when you come back here, you see that there's a bright yellow bar on the bottom of the database. That tells you, hey, something has just come in. And it's just begging you to click on it and see what it is. When you click on it, it automatically filters all the other requests out and selects new, so only the new one is seen. It's your job to look at this request and see what needs to be done. Okay, it looks like we must have this piece in the library, I'm guessing. So I'm going to say this is a high priority. And we're going to leave that there until I have to do something. I have to do the next step. I know it's a high priority, so I'm going to go pull it off the shelf and get it in the slot ready to be prepped, or whatever I'm going to do. At that point in time, I'm going to click that magnifying glass, and I'm going to add a note. Notice how it says created by Alan Larson? Well, that's because I was the one who created it. It's automatically putting that in there. You don't need to even do that. So I'm going to type in here, okay, pulled and ready to label. Hit enter, it gives it the date, says who did it, and now at this point in time, I no longer want this to be considered a new request. This is now open. It's in the works, we're working on it. I don't want to become numb to this yellow bar on the bottom of the database. That yellow bar is there telling you, hey, somebody needs something and they just asked for it. So we're going to get on top of it. If we don't change that request to open from new, then it's going to just be yellow down here all the time. And we won't even pay attention to the fact that the number has changed. So as soon as you handle a request of any sort, you need to make it open. After that open request, let me see, I'm just going to go ahead and open this one here. Let's say it's all checked out. Checked out and done. Okay, so as soon as it's checked out and done, you can then change the status. Right here, you can also change the status to closed. Now when I continue, it disappears from the list. I can always come back and find it by clicking on the closed, adding closed ones, and don't particularly need to do that too often. But the whole point of this is that since so many different students work in the library at different hours of the day, we need some way for common communication to know where a project's at. So if a professor walks in or emails us and say, hey, where's symphonic dances? You come here, you hit this, and you say, okay, the order has been placed on 7:20 and we're still waiting for it to come in. Or whatever the next step is. Very important that you keep this up to date. Again, I don't want to overstress it. I can't overstress it, I should say. This is how we keep our ducks in a row, so to speak. And I think that's about it. So become very familiar with this portion of the database because it's something you need to check every time you walk through the door. And we will be going over it again, I'm sure. Thank you for watching.